Hi there, I'm Christopher Dunnigan. This is HandmadeInVermont.com. Today we're talking about the Hubbardton Trove pendant. This is a low voltage dedicated LED pendant. A lot of details. Let's get into it. This is the 139860. It's part of Hubbardton Forge's Synchronicity collection, and that's a collection of pendants, sconces, all kinds of fixtures that are using crystals. And these crystals are from Swarovski, which is the world's best, or most famous and best, I guess, highest quality crystal manufacturer. So they're a studio in Switzerland. If you guys ever get a chance and you're in New York City, they actually have a flagship store where they sell a lot of their wares as well as jewelry that's made out of the same type of crystal. So you can expect to see, when you see the quality of crystal like this, and you can find it in high-end department stores like Neiman Marcus and Saks and Bloomingdale's and places like that. Really shows you that Hubbardton Forge has gone beyond what you can expect when using materials like this to make their lighting. It's really incredible. So a lot of details, like I said. Let's get into the size of the fixture to begin with. This is going to be coming down on two cables. One cable's positive, one cable's negative, and they're both supporting the fixture going up into a canopy, which we'll get into in a little bit. When we talk about the fixture size, the fixture body, it's really the bottom part. And what you have are three panels that are laser cut, with these little zigzags, and you actually have a frosted diffuser between them. You have strips of LEDs that are pushing light into that diffuser. Light is going up, light's going down, and it's going into those crystals. So the crystals kind of pop with color, and they're getting light from different sides, don't forget, because the lighting source is long. So it really, each facet is going to kind of glimmer like a diamond. The height of the fixture is 4.7 inches, and remember we're talking about the bottom part independent of the cables. So 4.7 high, 5.9 inches deep, so it's a long slender, and then 52.6 inches is going to be the length of it, so just kind of keep that in mind. Coming in at over 26 pounds, 26.4, anything over 25, we have to recommend that you attach this to a junction box that's attached somehow to your building. It's just an underwriter's laboratory's recommendation, so just kind of keep that in mind. I want to show you more about the canopy and this part of this. And how we do that is we look at the installations instructions. So if you're on the page for this fixture on HandmadeInVermont.com, look over on this side of the screen under those pull-down menus and go down and you'll see a link. It's going to say click here for installations instructions PDF. So open that up for me. These are the papers that are going to be in the box when you get this. Might as well look at them now. You could take the link and email it to your installer so they can see what they're going to have to need to do. Not a lot. It can just hang from a regular junction box as long as it's somewhat attached to a structure of the building. So use that also to look at the wonderful drawings, these line technical drawings of the whole fixture. You get a good sense of what it's all about and without having to try to find it someplace. And there you are. So when we circling back to the dedicated LEDs that are inside of this, remember I talked about two strips that are forcing light toward each other, right? 1500 lumens, that's 46 watts. That's about the equivalent of, let's say, about 250 watts of incandescent light. You can put this on a dimmer, so to make sure that your installer knows it's dedicated LED, because there are different types of dimmers, and there's no big difference in cost. It's just you want to get the right one, that's all. It's slope ceiling adaptable to 45 degrees, so you guys are all set there. And there's also a matching sconce on this too. I don't have the number handy, but go into sconces and check out the Trove sconce, because it'd be really cool to pair this up with that if you're putting this in a dining room or another place like that. Okay, let's get into the overall height, and that's going to be really from the ceiling to the bottom of the fixture itself. And you're going to have these two cables going into the canopy. It's going to allow this to be as short as 22 inches. Let's say you wanted to use this as a semi-flush in a room with like 9 or 10 foot ceilings, and you could be walking under it, right? Or most people are going to be putting this over a dining room table. So you could have this as long as 100 from the ceiling to the bottom of the fixture. If you need this to be longer than 100 inches, just contact me about that. We do customs all the time to make things longer or shorter. Send me an email. It's going to say, I'm looking at the 139860. I need this to be X. Let's say you need it to be 120 inches. I take your email, send it over to the forge. It goes around a little bit, and a couple of engineers come back and tell me what we can do. Adds a little time, a little money, but it's something we do all the time, okay? So let's get into, we'll talk about finishes really quick on this. So if you look over here, you've got, oops, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, look over here to begin with. You guys, on this side of the screen, you've got a bunch of red tabs with pictures in them. One is going to be a finishes help guide. Check that out and watch that video. Very important when you look at that chart, and the same chart that's over here right now, you'll see that you have pictures of the letter A on them, pictures of the letter B on them, and the video is going to talk about the difference between heavy forging and not heavy forging. And heavy forging is the bending of the metal and what can happen to the surface under the heat and stress of that. This fixture, because you have laser cut flat pieces, it's going to be more like the B's, B for boy in those pictures. It's going to be more uniform, so just kind of keep that in mind. But still watch the video because you're going to need this to look at other Hubbardton Forge things anyway, and it's pretty cool, and I did it, so you might as well watch it. Okay? So after that, why don't we talk about our showroom. So our showroom in Vermont has over 400 items from Hubbardton Forge, biggest showroom in the world. They use this as their showroom when you guys come to Vermont. They don't have one. Our showroom's open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can call us during business hours, 802-446-2400. You can email us at sales@HandmadeInVermont.com. 24 hours a day, all the time, and we love to answer questions. I want to scoot back to one thing. When we talked about the canopy up in the ceiling, I do want to talk about how those cables are going to be able to go in. So what they have are what are called grippers. So at the top, you're going to be feeding the cable into this little gripper, and it has a strain relief on it. So basically you're going to kind of loosen it a little bit, feed it in, bring this fixture up, kind of like you're raising something, and like raising a car, like with cables or something like that. But anyway, you're going to be raising it up. You want to make sure you get a level so you have it totally leveled where you want it to be. You can always bring it down a little bit, don't forget. It's not a big deal. But once you get it to where you're going to want to have it to be, once you're going to get it to where you want it, there, you're going to snip those cables. So make sure you have this exactly where you want it to be. Maybe you'll bring it up and just leave it a little bit and leave these cables kind of coming out until you kind of lived with it for a couple hours, and then, because you never know, you might have a view or something that you don't want to block, so kind of keep that in mind. Circling back around again, let's talk about when you buy your Hubbardton Forge fixtures from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. No tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont. We're the only dealer with 90-day returns and no restocking fees. Some larger items are non-returnable. We're always going to tell you on the page for that, so just keep your eyes out for that. We also offer a rush program. So rush is, basically takes you from Hubbardton Forge's 3 to 4 weeks in production down to about 2 weeks, and it's very inexpensive. So if you want to know more about that, just give me a call and I can kind of walk you through that too. And one other thing, we have a great clearance center here at our showroom. So if you guys are coming to Vermont, our showroom has, like I said, over 400 Hubbardton Forge fixtures, but our clearance stuff is showroom samples, discontinued stuff, and returns. That stuff is 75% off MSRP. It is an amazing deal. If you guys are going to come here, make sure you bring a vehicle that can accommodate, good-sized boxes if you want to take stuff home, because this stuff was shipped and it's packed in pretty big boxes. Big enough anyway. So anyway, that kind of clears that up. If you guys have any questions, let me know. It was great talking to you today, and have a great day. Bye-bye.